All right, so Stranger Things Season 4 is available on Netflix now. Don't worry, this is a non-spoiler review. If you want to hear my spoiler review, if you're watching on YouTube, it should come out on Thursday. This is the non-spoiler review coming out on Wednesday. And if you're listening on the podcast, then it'll just be, after this. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this season for the most part. There are some things I don't enjoy a whole lot, and I might be able to touch on them a little bit in this non spoiler review, but I feel like I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more in the spoiler review. So I'll try to keep things vague and also try to warn you guys on not getting spoiled because some stuff was spoiled for me and it was my own damn fault. But yeah, all 7 episodes are combined. I did the math. It's about 9 hours and 5 minutes, and that does include like credits and intros and all that. Which I skipped the intro for most of the episodes just for the sake of time. It's a great intro, but by that final episode, I'm just like, all right, this is the last one, so I feel like I kind of have to watch the intro. It's great. It's great intro, great music. So yeah, 9 hours and 5 minutes. That was a lot of stuff to watch just over the course of 7 episodes, and the fact that the last two are going to be 4 hours combined. Holy moly. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, the last 2 episodes of the season will be coming out on July 1st, which it was kind of a tactical move from Netflix trying to keep people subscribed for longer. At least that's what I think. I'm pretty sure. And I kind of understand it, but also it's a little frustrating. I would like to, see the conclusion while I'm watching the show. But, if you really think about it, our parents and their parents, they didn't have that luxury of just binging the whole thing. They had to wait week to week for these shows to come out. So the fact that we don't have to wait week to week to watch all of this, it's kind of nice. But yeah, we got new characters introduced in this season. We have Eddie, we got Argyle, Chrissy, Fred, and Jason, just to name a few. Um, there's quite a few other newer characters, which, by the way, I didn't have IMDb pulled up and ready, so a little unprepared here. Let me pull that up. But yeah, I think out of all the new characters, Eddie would definitely be my favorite. He is, I believe, the leader of the Hellfire Club, which I don't know for sure if that's what it was called in the first season when it was just Dustin, Mike, Will, and Lucas just doing their D&D thing. But the Hellfire Club is basically just a D&D club, and I'm pretty sure that Eddie is the leader of that club. And a lot of people are kind of freaked out in the community, and they don't like them. They see them as freaks because, well, their shirts have the devil on it. And, back in that time, it was the Satanic Panic. Everybody was worried about, if you play a record backwards, there's like satanic, image, or not images, but like messages and stuff like that. People were freaked out at the time by that kind of stuff. But yeah, Eddie is definitely one of my favorite newer characters. Let me pull up season 4 here. I don't want to see the entire cast. Let me see episode guide. Yeah, and also I didn't go back and rewatch all of Stranger Things in preparation for this. I did watch the first season a while back, but it's that second season, man. I really don't like that second season very much. So I watched like the first episode and I was just like, that's enough for me. But yeah, I mean, the show's created by Matt and Ross Duffer, the Duffer brothers. I think they're fantastic. And I think maybe not all of the episodes, but quite a few are written, or not written, but directed by oh shoot, what's his name? Sean Levy, right? The guy who did Free Guy, which Joe Keery, who plays Steve in the show, was in. But obviously in this show, you have Winona Ryder as Joyce, you got David Harbour as Jim, or Hopper as most people call him, Millie Bobby Brown as Eleven, Finn Wolfhard as Mike Wheeler, Gaten Matarazzo as Dustin Henderson, which, by the way, I actually went to school with his cousin. Shout out to Jack if you're watching. But yeah, we also have Caleb McLaughlin as Lucas Sinclair, Noah Schnapp as Will Byers, Sadie Sink as Max, Natalia Dyer as Nancy, Charlie Heaton as Jonathan, Joe Keery as Steve, my favorite character personally. It's a tie between Dustin and Steve. They're so great. I love them both. But Maya Hawke as Robin Buckley. We We got Brett Gelman as Murray Bauman, which he had a lot of fun things to do in this season for sure. He was kind of a badass, I won't even lie. And then Priya Ferguson as Erica Sinclair. And I'll stop there for the sake of time. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of new characters in here. Actually, let me see if I can find some of those new characters for you so I can give you the actors' names. I know I'm taking up a bunch of time already just going through the cast, but let me see here. Let me see. Well, we have Mason Dye as Jason Carver, which I believe he is like the captain of the basketball team, which Lucas, in this season, he joins the basketball team. Chrissy, the one I was talking about before, played by Grace Van Dyne. She is, I think, I don't know what you call like the head cheerleader. Maybe you just call her the head cheerleader, but that's essentially what she is. Who else? I'm trying to find. There we go. Joseph Quinn as Eddie Munson. Yeah, Eddie Munson, great character. Love his character so far. Very excited to see him again in the last 2 episodes. Hopefully he sticks around, you know. That's a bit of a spoiler there, sorry, but oh well. I mean, most of the time you're not going to introduce a character just to kill him off, you know. So, yeah, I mean, this is a really great season. There's a lot of really strong elements to it, but there's also a lot of things that confuse me. There are a lot of things that confuse me. The new villain in here, and by the way, don't search anything on Google about Vecna because you don't want anything spoiled, okay? Just trust me, because that's what I did to myself. And Vecna is a very interesting character. While I started watching this season, I thought that, oh shoot, what's his name? Oh crap. Robert Englund, the guy who played Freddy, I almost said Freddie Mercury, Freddy Krueger. He's in this show. It's more of a cameo. But yeah, I for some reason thought he was playing Vecna. So there are a lot of elements in here that reminded me of Freddy Krueger and Nightmare on Elm Street. There's references to Halloween, the movie, not the holiday. But what else was there? I mean, you can see some elements of like Predator just based on the design of Vecna. You know, there's always in this show there's always somewhat kind of references to Alien in a way. You know, you can kind of look at the creatures and attribute it to that. But there was something else. Friday the 13th as well. There was literally a scene in a lake. Yeah, and that's where I'll stop with that. But there's a lot of references and subtle nods to a bunch of other classic horror films and shows and books and all sorts of stuff. And it's really cool. They don't do it too hard. Like, you know what I mean? They don't do it to the point where it's like Ready Player One, where it's just straight up, hey, you see the reference we made there? See the connection we're trying to make? It very much is its own thing. But I have to say it's its own thing that I don't fully understand yet. I don't understand Vecna's powers. That's the only thing. I don't understand his powers. For the most part I do, but at the same time I don't. So hopefully they explain that in the last 2 episodes. But also spoiler alert. Although I feel like they kind of explain it. Because I won't lie, episode 7, it's all just, you know, Vecna talking about his origins and all that, and us figuring it out as an audience what that is. So spoiler alert for episode 7, but you know, it's not like anything crazy that'll ruin the whole season for you. I mean, at some point you have to know, or you have to figure out how the fuck Vecna is a thing. But yeah, I mean, the whole maybe like last 20 minutes of episode 7 is just him explaining that, and I thought that was a really cool explanation, but there's still things I don't fully understand about the way it works, I guess. And that's as much as I'll say about Vecna. I feel like I've already kind of said a little too much, but yeah, there you go. What else can I say here? I already said that. There's flashbacks in this season, not only to things we've seen in the show, and not only like flashbacks from characters we know, but flashbacks from people we don't know as well. I won't say exactly what that is, but there's a lot of flashbacks in the season, and it works very well. A lot of times flashbacks can be a little tedious and monotonous, and just, you know, you're just sitting there like, all right, I get it, you know. this is what led to this. But there's a lot of flashbacks, but they don't, at the same time, they don't overdo it. And in the spoiler review, I will say the one time they kind of overdid it for me. But as for now, I can't really say anything. But overall, in terms of just like the technical aspects of this show, I think the cinematography is top notch. I think it's the best it's ever been for the show. And the CGI is pretty good. They do a lot of bold things in this season. You can definitely tell they have a lot larger of a budget than they did in the first 3 seasons, which was already a lot, I'm assuming, because a lot of that looked great. But with Vecna, they kind of do, from what it seems like, a little more practical effects on him, which I very much enjoy. I love when people use practical effects as much as they can. I don't know, just because you can tell when it's CGI for the most part. I tried to almost say point and part at the same time. But for the most part, you can tell when things are CGI. And when it came to Vecna, like, I'm sure some of, Vecna's design was CGI, but a lot of it did seem like, practical effects. And I appreciate that so much. As just a lover of effects in general, I love practical effects. Whenever a movie or a show does it and they do it well, like they did in this show, it just makes me so fucking giddy. I'm like a little child, and I fucking love it, dude. Seriously, movies and TV shows don't do practical effects enough. But there are plenty of CGI moments in here. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them not so much. Some of them are literally things I could see the people on Corridor Crew kind of roasting a little bit. But at the same time, it's nothing like horrible. I've seen way worse CGI. And it's not even that noticeable, I guess. I mean, at times it is, but a lot of times when these effects are happening, it's dark. So, it works for the show pretty well. I think they did their best with some of the CGI moments, but there's, like I said, a couple that just you can definitely tell it's not real. So that's like the only complaint I have from a technical standpoint. But the thing, I guess I can say this because in season 3, I'm pretty sure we found out, like, maybe towards the end, that 11 doesn't have her powers anymore. And that's how it starts with this. She doesn't have her powers. And a lot of the goal, kind of slight spoiler here, is for her to get them back, obviously. I mean, come on. She's got to get them back. Especially with the threat they have. So they spend a lot of time, pretty much the whole season, just her trying to get her powers back. And that's the aspect of the show I dislike the most. It took so long for it to happen. And even by the final episode, it still kind of didn't happen. Slight spoiler there. Sorry. I know. I'm trying to limit the spoilerish things I say. But, at the same time, I need to kind of explain things. But yeah, just anything having to do with 11 in the season I found to be kind of weak. Also, slight spoiler here. But Mike, Will, and Jonathan, Jonathan especially, Jonathan has fucking close to nothing to do in this season at all. I'm wondering if all the characters are going to come together by the end. But as for now, Jonathan hasn't really done shit. Will and Mike, they've done enough. But, for Mike essentially being the main character, I feel like, in a way, of the first season at least. I feel like he was one of the, obviously, the whole group is the main character, but, out of everybody, I think it focused on Mike more. And in this show, I feel like they kind of focused, I don't know. I can't say that anyone was more focused on than anybody else, But I can say for sure that Mike, Will, and Jonathan just really didn't have a whole lot to do. And I was slightly disappointed by that. But, they're, at the end of the day, those 3 are really not my favorite characters. There are subtle things that they allude to. A lot of theories say that maybe Will is gay. And there's definitely things they allude to that could possibly, hint that he is. Nothing against that, obviously. But, at first I was just no, I'm kind of skeptical. But after seeing and hearing certain things, I'm just I don't know. It could be true. So that's kind of the main thing going on with Will. Really not a whole lot. The people, I guess you could say it focuses on the most is Eleven, Steve, Nancy, Robin, Dustin, and Lucas for sure, and a little bit of Erica. Anybody else, not a whole lot. Hopper, Joyce, and Murray get a decent amount of time, but nothing too crazy. Murray in this season, he knows karate, and that's all I'll say about him. But he's kind of a badass in this season. I won't even lie. Um, yeah, Hopper great in this season, also kind of a badass, and it's great to see him again. So many great characters in the show, but like I said, my favorites definitely had to be Dustin and Steve. I don't know which one is my favorite out of the two. I don't know. I just love their chemistry together too, so it makes it hard to choose one over the other. But Nancy and Robin kind of have a slight friendship in this show, or not the show, but the season. They didn't really talk a whole lot or do a whole lot in the last season with those two characters. So in this season, they kind of, in a way, meet each other for the first time. I mean, not really, but like in a way, So yeah, a lot of really great things in this season. Is it my favorite season? I don't know. The first season is fucking amazing. Second season, like I said already, I don't really care for it. Third season, I don't remember a whole lot from it, but I remember really liking it. I think that might be my favorite season. Well, no, I don't know. I think right now, as it stands, it would go season 1, and this is from best to worst, season 1, season 3, season 4, and then season 2. 4 is good so far, but I have to see those last 2 episodes to really know how I feel about it, and about the villain, and about the way the story comes together. I really have to wait and see until July 1st, and I hate that I have to wait for it, but you know what? It is what it is. So I think that's really all I have to say in terms of non-spoilers. Hopefully I didn't give anything too crazy away. I really don't think I did, but yeah, I mean, Vecna, interesting villain, and this is, oh, by the way, one thing I forgot to say, this season, out of like all the seasons, is the most violent out of all of them. You see a lot of blood, you see like fucking bone snapping and fucking eyes being gouged out. It's fucking intense, dude. So if you're ready for some hardcore violence, this season is for you. Maybe not super hardcore. I've definitely seen worse in like Game of Thrones, which, by the way, there's actually an actor in here from Game of Thrones who plays one of the Russian guards. Really liked his character as well. But yeah, I mean, really, really solid so far. Maybe not my favorite. I mean, it's definitely, my third favorite season so far. Not great, but all these seasons except for 2, I think, are fucking fantastic. So yeah, that's my non-spoiler review for season 4, or at least the first part of season 4. Yeah, if you've watched it, let me know what you think down in the comments below. But since this is a non-spoiler video, don't spoil anything in the comments. Please be nice. Some people don't have the time to sit for 9 hours and watch all these episodes, and they have to do it slowly. And I kind of had to as well. Like yesterday, I didn't watch the last episode at all, but prior to that, I would watch 2 episodes a day, and even that was kind of a lot. But yeah, so far so good, and I really do have to see those last 2 episodes to know fully how I feel about this season, but it feels pretty cemented in that 3rd place spot in terms of seasons. But we shall see. We shall see. Maybe it'll bump up at least to that 2nd place. But yeah, pretty solid. So thank you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment, do all that shit. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next one. And for those of you listening on the podcast, let's get to the spoiler review.